Hey everyone, this is Jenny Garcia and this is a Project Life process video using products from Citrus Twist Kits. And in this spread, I have quite a few photos that are on a filter or that are a little bit smaller. So that's what I need to pick other cards and pattern papers so I can map those. That's going to make the layout look a little busy, but I don't mind. And on top of that, I added a bunch of stuff as usual. The 4x6 cards are going to be my title cards, and then I'm going to write my journaling in list form using that card that says on my list. And that I love the card that says on my list and the one with crafty products. Those are my absolute favorite cards. They're so cute. And also there's some cards. They're actually pattern papers that I shrunk down to 3x4s. And I'm just looking through all my cards, looking for papers and cards that I can use as backgrounds. And I'm going to use this alpha stamp. I believe it's called Sadie. It's a new one, and it's the lowercase. I also have the uppercase. The lowercase does include numbers and the percent sign. You know how much I love my numbers, so I love the Citrus Twist Kits always add numbers. It really is into that whole Project Life title cards or maybe even listing vibes, so it works out perfect. And I'm not going to do much to this card. I am just going to stamp week 16, I believe is this week, and then I'm going to use a little label. I printed a lot of labels from Citrus Twist Kits. They're just so great to have around. And whenever I print and cut or I print my collections, since these are coming in digital format lately, I like to do that. I like to take the whole day for that. And I print, if I have to print stuff from the cut shop and, in Veronica Create Shop and Citrus Twist Kits, I like to create all of the files first. And then I can print and cut without being too into the process, since it's quite time consuming. On the top I just have a bunch of die cuts and this little drawer item. It's to organize, I want to say, screws and nails and stuff like that, but I use it for labels. If I was sort of a butterfly organizer, and for the record, butterflies are people who are very visual, that have all the items out, and I love how it looks, but it doesn't work for me, which sucks because the rooms look so pretty when everything is out. But if I was a butterfly, I would buy one of those very big screw organizer, kind of like the ones I use for labels, and I would put it on a wall. And I took the scraps from some papers and cards, and I just use my long foam dies to create little shapes. That way I could use everything Citrus Twist Kits instead of using my little art stickers. And I love this quick pick tool. I seem to forget it sometimes, but it's just so handy. I do wonder what happens when you run out of the little glue, because you screw the top, and it's kind of like a glue stick. So you have to screw, and then the adhesive comes up. Now I'm gonna use these letters for a mini title card. I took a bunch of pictures of my daughter making marble paper using shaving cream, and that's something that she saw on her STEAM book. By the way, it's a great book. If you have kids, I should remember to link it below. But it has all kinds of experiments and little project ideas for kids, and you don't have to buy plutonium on the black market. It's just like baking soda, oil. In this case, it was just shaving cream and food coloring. I would buy food coloring on at Dollar Tree because we've used so much coloring food, but it's been really fun. It's we use that book a lot. Like at first we got it from the library, borrowed, and then we were like, no, we need to get this book. And I'm going to use these small alphas to write shaving cream marble paper. And it's really simple. You just put shaving cream on like a cookie sheet. Don't use one of your good ones. Remember that sometimes food coloring stains. Luckily, Dollar Tree also sells those. They're not very good for baking. Don't buy those for baking, but they're very good for projects. So you just put shaving cream on top. You put drops of coloring, and you take a toothpick and you kind of like swirl it around, and then you put paper on top, and then you lift it, and when you clean it, it's like a really pretty pattern that it's kind of soft and it smells really good. It's really cool. And it's a project that you can do with kids of any ages. And after this card, I decided that I was going to do more of this framing with the flowers. It's something that I've done before. I remember from seeing it in my 2019 flip through album. I did it with some Pretty Little Studio products, and I was like, I need to do that again. And this is going to be a layout where I do that a lot. And the good thing is, for example, I think that on this photo, I use only one big flower die cut to get all the corners. That was pretty awesome. And that week we just made cupcakes from a box. Not my favorite kind. They're sort of dry. But it's the kind of thing they're like, well, I want to bake, but I don't want to go through too much trouble. But honestly, I'd rather go through the trouble. They were okay. It just taste, I don't know, I think it's the oil. They're dry, but the texture is like different. Maybe I'm more of a butter person, and I'm saying this like I bake all the time. Like I go into the greatest baker show. No, I bake like 5 times a year, but I do enjoy it. Whenever we bake hard, or just make cake for birthdays. So, and now I'm just gonna add one little heart. Oh, this is more for my kids when my kid wants to bake on her own. I think she did them on her own. And this is part of the process with the cookie sheet. And if you go to Dollar Tree, between like buying the shaving cream, the cookie sheet, the food coloring, and let's say that you also needed toothpicks, it's less than $5. So that's pretty awesome. And I love that washi from Pipsticks. And I'm glad that it glues really well, because the first washi that I got from Pipsticks, when you like unroll it and then you put it back, it didn't like glue, and I was kind of worried about that, but it ended up working out. And I love the Make Kit because the theme is like craftiness and working on your stuff. And then you had the National Scrapbooking Day sheet, and they have other elements for crafting. So I love all of these sayings about crafted to me, work in progress, handmade, stuff like that. And I always like to take a few pictures. And if it's hard for you to take pictures like in the moment, what you can do is take a video and then you can pause it and take a screenshot. And sometimes that's even better. Sometimes when I don't take a good picture during the process, I look at whatever video, if I took any, and then I take some screenshots. And these were the cupcakes. I love how they look when they're naked, but I am a frosting fan. I like muffins, but I like blueberry muffins or like brown sugar. They need to have some sort of flavor going. And I should try making blueberry muffins, because the only time I tried, it was like a super healthy recipe and they were pretty good, but they went bad like the next day, which is disrespectful to the bananas that were already dying to make those muffins. I need to make the bad ones. And I'm using that Tombow glue, the Mono Aqua liquid glue, because if I add a little bit too much glue, it dries clear. If you use the one with the green cap, that one dries a little tacky, and then it's going to get stuck to your page protector or to the other page or whatever you're planning on using. And that week I was listening to this audiobook. It's called Music is History from Questlove, and he is the drummer from the Roots. And weird sidetrack story, I fell in love with the Roots because my daughter was watching Yoga Bagawa, my oldest. I used to love Yoga Bagawa, and they sang a song, and then I became obsessed with them. But it was a good audiobook, but it was like a personal history, so I wish it was more actual history, but it was still really good, and he has a super pleasant voice. He's really good at narrating his audiobooks. And I'm going to use this tag, and I'm going to stamp the number in the middle using the Flamingo Studio Calico ink. And then I'm going to add it to the card, and I'm going to stamp week on top of the number. And I love these alphas. They're like a type font, like a typewriter, but they are a lot cleaner. And those are the washi that I picked for the May collection. I just wanted something colorful and vibrant, and that orange honestly goes with everything, so that's pretty awesome. And I keep moving to the side because I have my disgusting little cleaner over there to clean my stamps. I always try to clean my stamps when I use them. That way they're not contaminated by other colors when I use them the next time. And I grab this label, which is also from Citrus Twist Kits, to stamp the dates. And at first I thought that I was going to use that card to stamp both weeks, because I could have used that yellow space for that too, but I just preferred the other card. I love it. I already used that card, but I needed to use it again, and don't judge me if you see it again. I'm just looking through the word art that came with the ephemera pack. Now I feel that I need to fill out every little square. So I'm looking through the other items, and a few of them are like crafty items, like a paintbrush, some scissors. I also I am obsessed with the little paper clip die cuts. I recently did August on my reading journal from last year that I haven't finished, and I use a bunch of those paper clips. And I like them because they look very legit, but they have no bulk like a real paper clip would. And I used to use a lot of those paper clips, the real ones, in my Scrapbook, and my Scrapbooks were so fat. I love my Scrapbook. That was a fun project. I'm really looking for something to happen in that blue rectangle. I just don't want something that it's too big or takes too much space. And I like the scissors, but that red sort of clash with the rest of the card. The elements are pretty light, so it wasn't a good fit. So I just put those cute flowers there. And here come the weird filters. And this is one of the cards that is actually a paper. I'm obsessed with doing this lately. I don't know why. It looks really cool, especially when they have a cool pattern and you sort of want the whole thing on it. And this is a picture of my daughter as a cat. And in the journaling list, I wrote that as a cat, she looks more like her cousin than when they're human. I don't know. It's weird. I'm going to add some of that washi with the little So Fun die cut, and that's from the cut aparts. And from the cut aparts, I usually cut things in at least 2 different sizes. That way I can use it in a bigger card, or I can use it in something like this where it's just a little extra to add to the card. This is another paper that became a card. And it's going to be a tricky one because I still want to see a peek of the paper in the background. I wanted to add that die cut, but I wanted to add something at the top because you have that big blue space. I'm going to be looking through all my little die cuts. I put a mix of, some of Travelogue and the Cherish collection. It's like a mix that would work with this layout. Part of me wants to mix them up in a giant ball because it will look pretty, but also it would drive me crazy. I would divide them in bigger die cuts, words, smaller die cuts, things that are like sprinkles, like those paper clips. And I love the orange in that card. I love the little flower, and I've already used the card with the flower how it's supposed to be. But I do also like how it looks as a background. And if you're watching this on Monday, happy Mother's Day if you're a mother. I'm wearing the little bracelet my daughter made me. It's so cute. That's her thing now. She's making bracelets. And I was kind of debating whether or not to use that card because I do love paper that looks like notebook to write on it, but I also thought it would look great as a background. The good thing about having the digital version is that I can do it this time like that, and if I want to use that paper again, I'll just go through my files and do it. My recommendation is, once you have a lot of printables like I do, I have a lot. So I have everything in one big folder, and then in each folder I have divided by category. I have in a creative bubble, Citrus Twist Kits, Syncopation, the Cot Shop Veronica Creates, and then inside that folder, if I've been buying from them for years, I either have a December daily tab or I have them by years. So whatever works for you. You can like write them by occasion. You can separate them because usually these companies have different folders for the papers and the cards, and you can separate them that way too. I prefer to keep the collections together. And at the top organizer where I keep my die cuts when I am using different packs or stuff like that, or companies and I don't want to mix them up, or collections. And I found the one similar at Dollar Tree the other day, but it's like it's even better for drawers if you want to keep everything organized inside your drawers, if you do embellishment drawers like I do. This was just a day that I was showing my daughters some filters because they don't have social media, they're too young, but I do like whenever I see something funny I share it with them, or you know, if they want to use a filter we do that too. That way they don't have to like get their own social media, or they even get the urge to use it. I'm just looking for something at the bottom right that would work. And that kind of was a little bit too much, but I regret nothing. Over embellishing it's my style, so I should be used to it by now. And I have like one of those little boxes that is actually hanging on my IKEA pegboard, that it's full of little hearts, but I still want to cut more because I use a lot of the little ones, and then the bigger ones are not really my favorite, so I need a few more colors. I'm going to keep this one super simple because everything around it, it's already really has a lot of embellishments, and there's a lot going on with the pattern papers too. So I think I'm just going to go for the paper clips. I'm going to look for something for the left, but I end up just stapling it because everything looked like a little bit too much, and I didn't want to cover the cat's tail. Those are the die cuts of the National Scrapbooking Day. Oh, I could have used that little stripe over there. And here I'm just going to write my journaling as a list. I'm going to keep it really simple. And since this is Canon matte photo paper, I'm using a pen that does not have a felt tip, because Canon matte photo paper and any photo paper, matte photo paper, kind of like accumulates on the tip of the felt pen. It kind of ruins it. And I forgot to like show a close-up, but here are the photos. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having an awesome day. Bye.